Welcome. We are going through Watch Us Work. We're going to create a web page to list all the worlds within the Never Surrender database, which is under How I Roll. This is not instructional. It's just simply we're going to do things and you can watch us do it. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm going to come over here to the Never Surrender Online folder. I will talk throughout, but again, I'm not necessarily trying to instruct. I'm going to add a new item. Alright, so we've got our new web page here using a master page. This next step is just for our host. Change that to co-file. And we're going to change that inherits here in a second. Again, this is for our specific host, what I'm doing right now. Changing that public partial class to match what's here in the inheritance. Alright, so now I've got the front end that matches the code behind. This is ASP.NET, using Visual Studio, C#.NET for web development. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm not going to remake everything. I already have several web pages where I've done some of these things before. So let me go to select nation. Just copying and pasting a panel to give me the title. Changing the ID. It's not overly necessary, but they all need to be different. So that label, that's actually something that people might see. Let's see, what else am I going to pick from this other one? Because everything requires to be logged in now. I'm going to put a meta refresh, so that page will just refresh by itself every like 300 seconds. Make sure that is in the content header. Content header. Alright, there we go. Let's see, what else? This is what we call reuse. Taking something from another page I've already done. So these are just standard for error and messages that come up. That's what these labels are for. Most of the time they're going to be blank. Have nothing in them unless something's happening. Then I'm going to go over here to this other page. And I'm going to pull this display, putting everything into a grid view. Let me put a break after that. So we got the title of the page. I will not use a tag, I'll use an underscore. There we go. Here's the panel. World's error message, label message. And this is not going to be nation. This is going to be world instead. So I'm just going to do a massive find and replace nation for world, or world for nation I should say. Find all instances of nation, replace them with world. Get rid of that tooltip there in the panel, and the tooltip, the hover over will come from the grid view. Let's see, there's some other things I'm going to change for this. In case showing the header is fine. Tab index 10, that's fine. I'm not auto-generating any of that. So I don't need any of that stuff. What I am going to do is go take the grid lines. No, it's not coming in. Hold on a second. Close those pages and reopen them. IntelliSense is giving me an issue right this second. So sometimes you can resolve that by just closing the web page and reopening it. There we go. Grid lines equal, I'm going to say none. Let's see how that goes. So I actually probably do not need the header for this then. See how that happens. Alright, so now I'm going to go back over to the database. And look at this store procedure that I'm going to call and get the actual fields. So all worlds, world all, that's a store procedure. I'm going to pull world name. And then world description final. So I'm just copying and then I'm going to paste into my web page. Alright. I'm going to show the ID, so I don't need that twice. Like I said, I'm going to try it without the header first. See what it looks like. No header, no grid lines, so this should just go straight down and give the name of each world and its description. Alright, so that's the front end. Again, why am I remaking anything? I'm going to go and pull something that already takes data from the database and puts it into the grid view. And open up world.aspx.cs. Paste that. Now I'm going to need a whole lot of other stuff. All of these usings that were not on the original page. I don't really need session state for this, I don't think. There we go, that's better. Alright, so this is obviously not character grid, so I'm going back to the database. And pull the name of my store procedure, which is world_all, and then paste that back into the code behind page. And of course, I'm going to call that store procedure using the command text there. And this store procedure doesn't have any parameters, I don't need to pass it anything, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And code, because I don't need that. Connection open. So that will fill the SQL data reader, and then I'm going to use that as a source for the grid view, but of course this is a different grid view. Grid view underscore world, that is the object that we're going to fill. So that's the data source. The data source for the grid view underscore world is going to be that data reader that we get from calling this store procedure. And then you bind it, of course, right? All the rest of that is just to, call it, get the connection string, so on and so forth. Put that in the try-catch block, just in case there's any issues. Alright, so let us go. There's not really anything else going to happen on this page, but I will still pull this init and change it. So I don't have those variables, so I get rid of those. But we do have label underscore error and label underscore message. Explain that in a second. In this, I have way more than what I need here, but the pattern's already there, so I'm just going to copy everything that's in the page load. Put it here and then get rid of most of it. Alright, so when the page loads, it's going to call that, and then next thing I want to do is actually go pull the data to display. So that's going to be world all, there we go. Alright. And let's go reference this page from someplace else. Probably should have put it in the data folder, but it's fine, because that's world. I'll probably put other things here. Let's just open the default page for the data folder, which is lookup experience. And that's right, I'm just going to copy paste. Probably restructure this too. Let's see. World. Nation. Tribe. Experience table. Put that towards the bottom here. Alright, so let's see what we got. Changing this completely. So for the navigate URL, just get rid of that. Hit the equal sign, so this should tell me where I can pick URL for where that new page is I just created. Which is a Never Surrender Online, that folder, and it's world.aspx. There we go. Alright. Let me go change this. This is now worlds. I don't have tooltips here, so let's go ahead and add that. Tooltip equal worlds. Alright, got it. Not only is it good for, hover over for the hyperlinks, but if you have to do it with like ADA or 508 compliance, that's something that could help you. Let's see, which I didn't have for the rest of these. Change this tab index. That's the order of when people tab through if they're doing that. 5, that's tribe. Tooltip equals tribe. There we go. Break in between each one. Change that tab index 3, 4, 5, 6, sequential as much as possible. That's going to be 7. Tooltip for this. Change the tab index of that next link to number 8. Alright. I'm not overly concerned about the IDs being out of sequence. So what I should do is, instead of giving a number, give it something like world. There we go. And then this is nation, right? Yep, that's nation. This is tribe. Special power. Skills. Skill. And then experience points. Experience point table. Alright. Alright. So I think I've made enough changes for right now. I'm going to go upload that. And then see how it goes. All right, so we're back, and I've already logged in, right? So this is highrollgames.com/neversurrender. Technically, the portion that I'm going to go to is in Never Surrender Online. And I'm going to look up. Let's see, worlds, nations. I have something turned off, don't I? Special powers, skills, experience. Worlds, nations. Tribe. Tribe is not visible right now. So I must, yeah, I'll come back and look at that later. Worlds, nations, tribe. That'll probably be the next thing I work on then. Okay. So, yeah, see, because it says visible false. Let me get back to web development. There we go. There's the web page. So the reason that didn't show up is that the hyperlink tribe, right, has visible false. So if I were to go back to the actual web page, there we go. See that it's just not showing up. Worlds, nations, no tribe, special power, skills, experience table. That is by design, as we say. All right, so let's go to worlds. Let's see if it worked. Don't know right now. Okay, it did. But we're going to need some sort of structure here. So I think I'll have to either put the grid lines back on, or like put the name on top of the description. The quickest fix, I think, is just going to be to put the grid lines back on. So let's go back here. Let's try just horizontal for right now. There we go. Back to the web page. So I took grid lines and put horizontal. Let's upload that and see what happens. Alright, let's go back to the web page here and refresh. See what we got. It's a little bit better. Alright, so back to the web page, and let's change those grid lines to both. Upload that to the server and see what happens. Alright, let's hit refresh. Alright, so at least this has all the worlds. And a brief description. Alright, now, part of the point of me doing this is that that is probably too wide to do what I'm going to do next, which is copy and paste in someplace else. So let's go change the width of that. Let's try 55. Alright, so we're back on the web page, and I changed the width of the grid view to 55%. We upload and then refresh. Refresh. All right. Not too bad, not too bad. All right. So what I'm going to do is highlight the web page. Since this is formatted kind of how I want, hit copy, and then I'm going to go to my document. Paste, see how it goes. It's not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Don't like that. We can always change that. But basic is I have the data from the database that I'm using to now fill out this document. And technically it already says Worlds and Nations section, so I don't know if I need to add anything else like on top of this. This is where, you know, you could put the header back in there. Maybe, maybe not. In this case, I am not. I'm just going to leave it because at least that gets all the worlds in here in my document, which is what I was trying to accomplish. Because there is a section header, worlds and nations section. I should probably move that down some. Let's move that down. All right. If I'm having worlds and nations, then maybe I should have a subsection header. Just getting rid of the previous information here. Get myself set up for the next thing, which will be worlds. I mean nations. Yeah, because I don't need that. Because there have been massive change, not massive changes, but lots of changes to the nations. So there you have it for now. World information. Creating a web page to do that.